So for those of you that do not know Cambuí Farm, it is in Matão. It's a city. Today we have 6,500 hectares of citrus, over 3 million plants, 516 hectares of uh, latex plant, of rubber plant, sugarcane over 1,200 hectares, and 31% of native forest. And the problem starts here. Of course, that such a large farm such as Cambuí, a whole block, it's easier to control. We have 86 kilometers of borders, only external, and internal we have 40, and we have over 4,000 hectares of reserve and forest. And so if you count 86 kilometers at 100 meters, I will have 860 borders. So, and we have over 2,000 hectares that we have to treat on a weekly basis. So this is a lot. And what is our obligation is to have low cost and high yield. To bring down cost, most of citrus growers will cut on pesticides, but I cannot, or better fertilizers. And some companies are working in order to stop the greening control, and I'm against that. I was hired by Fundo Citrus 3 years ago to work with greening. I really advocate for the system. And so I'm here, and to talk about this, I will show you the internal and the external programs from Cambuí. Here, this is our regional management. We have our own nurseries. We monitor psyllids. We have the visual traps. We spray using tanks and planes. We have eradications, inspections. We have the monitoring and control of neighbors. This today is the best way that growers have to try to and control greening. And the main thing that we have is the regional management. It has to go hand in hand with the growers. Everyone has to do that. Greening is a disease, and it's not only inside the farm. If you just work inside the farm, your cost is going to be much higher. Rodrigo has shown data that if the growers start working on it and start seeing the results, you see that is very cheap. My greening cost today is 10 to 12% of the total cost of the orange production, and this is 1% of the 12% that I spend with greening. So it's very unaffordable, and considering the return I have. So we have 4 yearly inspection eradications. And then I was doing the math. 10, 12 years ago in the first symposium, if you were to ask me, we would have 10 to 12 greening inspections. The minimum wage was 505 reals at the time. Imagine today, if the research had not brought these results to us, of being able to lower inspection, increase the spraying, and to have that external management helping us. And here we have all monitoring, internal and also external neighbors. We have 32 farms monitored by us in a radius, and I have 77 neighbors today. And we monitor around 32, 33 farms. These are weekly readings. It's just a single person doing it. That helps us a lot when we have to make a decision. And every now and then we check if that person is really seeing it, because that person, sometimes we have to add a psyllid here and there to see if the person is really finding them. And here is where we find our main problem today. What the companies talk about, they talk about people management. And I usually tell them that we have to have the management of the greening management. Cambuí has over 1,000 plots. It's nice to come here, a weekly treatment every 10 days, bi-weekly, monthly treatment, and in order for you to comply with all this agenda all over the year, it's complicated. You have rain, some machines break down, sometimes you can't get in. So that's what we are saying. We want to meet the deadlines, to fulfill the schedule. If it's 7 days, it's not 15. If it's 15 days, those are not 20. It's difficult to control 1,000 plots. This is not a plot. This is a whole block. You have 18 plots in here, and that has to be done on a weekly basis. So this is important. This is the management of what is happening. And greening speaks. That's nice. You just have to have the data to understand it. And greening will show you, oh look, this is where we have more greening. Is the treatment right, or do I need to change it? So that's where you have to start. You have to check the figures that the disease is bringing you. And here, Rodrigo Giroto already talked about it. This is a picture of a pruned area. Our volume is of 800 liters per hectare in the psyllid control. Some areas could reach 1,000, and the newer areas we have a lower flow, but we mainly work with 800 liters per hectare. And this is a nice picture. We started last year, and Cambuí has 62% of that area. And close to Cambuí, you don't have much irrigation. And so when we turn on the irrigation, all psyllids around the area go to this farm. So this is the second year in which we are strengthening spraying and especially pruning, because we would have different sectors, and all of a sudden the 5 sectors were pruning. So at the time we are already changing. So we'll have a pruning rotation because that's easier to control then. So area spraying, we have around 5. This is not on the calendar. These are strategic sprayings. And I have here just one in blue. This is the growth that will be eradicated this year. So why only one? Because this is especially in the winter spraying. That's what we are going to do. This is going to be eradicated in September or October. Systemic application, we work up to 2 meters high, more or less up to the second year of the growth, and then we work with imidacloprid or gematoxin. And always thinking about product rotation. We want to avoid as much as possible to use the same molecule twice in a row. We always try to rotate those products. And what makes it easier is to have planting in different blocks. Sometimes we have to sacrifice a whole plot, but then management becomes much easier. It's the same treatment, so that makes it much easier for us. And the regional management here, that's what I call the external management. So we work with the release of Tamarix, we spray groves, backyards. And just to give you an idea, 7 years ago, look, around Cambuí is in blue, okay? We had over 360 neighbors. And then 4 years ago, because of the price of orange and greening and so on, this dropped. And today, currently, we have here 77 neighbors. Of those 77 neighbors, 1 controls greening. And that's what I say a lot, because growers say, I control greening, and then I ask, how much have you eradicated? He says nothing. So they're not controlling. Either they control and they spray and eradicate, or they are not controlling. So we have no midterm there. We have citrus, suco here, and they're our neighbors. These are the meetings that we hold along with from the citrus. They help the partners, the companies. This is a yearly meeting. We talk to them. We bring them the studies, and that makes it very easy when we have to have the external management, when we have to get to the farms. And Nivaldo, it's time for us to have that talk again, right? These are the yellow stick traps. That's where we have our neighbors. We monitor and we do the spraying here. And also when you use the plane and the farm, we try to do a regional management with it, so the plane is flying here and you see all the tractors working on the neighbors. This covers around 250 hectares. Now eradication, some of them close, some of them are a little bit further away, and that's also to help those growers. There's only one that is eradicating, but they have very good growers that care for their orchards, and we try not to kill them. We try to help them grow. and backyards as well. We have 2,000 plants sprayed. We have been able to do that in 20 days. We have an inspector. They go with a car and a saw and spraying, and then we see what we can give them later on. Otherwise, they will change their mind. So we already go there, we spray it, and we have been able to do that in 20 days. All these little points, these are all backyards. And the problem here is not orange, it's the lemon. It's easy to eradicate oranges, but when you start working with the lemon, so to allow ladies for the ladies to allow us to remove the lemon trees, it's very difficult. We have to promise them a lot of things. And so this is just to show you eradication in backyards. Here we are helping in the validation. This is an external action project from the Citrus. So you have the app, and the person is there mapping all the actions. And I do believe this is going to be great for producers. And on this slide, after such a long time, we have 3 farms. I didn't name them. All of that was citrus in the past. They already have 5 years of sugarcane, and in March we had a scare. So we partnered Cambuí, Citrusuco, and Fundecitrus. They are neighbors here. And all of a sudden, we started finding a lot of psyllids. We sent there a team. We have this area here, around 1,000 plants of lemon sprouting that were remaining in the forest. So after 5 years with sugarcane, this is the main problem. Now that we really had that scare, we are going to do that every 3 months. We will be back to those areas. Right, Evaldo? We have to talk about that. So this took us around 30 days. There was a farm in the middle of Cambuí here. We found 300 there, and there's another one here, 200 plants. And this was right under our nose. So greening, when the greening starts to increase, there is something going on in the system. There is a mistake there. Now look, with the fruits and everything, these are some of the examples we have found there. This is another case. It was by chance that we found this area here. We would find psyllids every week. And when we went back there, and I visit a farm, and I went to an area, they have 20 backyards. And then I understood why so many psyllids were coming up. It was because of that. We went there, Fundecitrus helped us, we eradicated it, we sprayed it, and we were no longer finding that many psyllids anymore in the area. So this is what we found there. The person had 200 lemon trees. We eradicated 180. Only 20 remained. So these eradications are very important. And so when we are not able to go to an area, to a district, with the support of the citrus, we start releasing Tamarixia. So it's important for growers to join themselves. So a single company cannot do everything together. We have to start involving growers. And now to conclude our current results. In this last year, we were able to bring down greening. External actions of Cambuí started in 2011. So we had a peak at the farms that I showed you, where we had the eradication, and we were able to reach that level. So what is the ideal? To go to less than 1% of plants eradicated in a year. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you all.